God has already taken into account every detail of your life. Every bad break, every negative comment, how you were raised, what somebody did. God has factored that all into His plan. You will stay in faith. Instead of stopping you, that will propel you forward. Instead of defeating you, that will make you stronger. God knows how to take what was meant for your harm and use it to your advantage. One day, this young man in high school, he got into trouble for acting up in class, and he was sent to the school counselor. She tried to reason with him, but he wouldn't listen. He had a chip on his shoulder, but she wouldn't give up. He finally said to her, "Why are you wasting your time with me? I'm never going to do anything great. I've been told my whole life I'm a child at risk." She looked him in the eyes and said, "Listen to me. You are not a child at risk. You are a child at possibility." When he heard that, something ignited on the inside. He sat up in his chair and said, "What do you mean, at possibility?" She said, "You are full of potential. You are smart. You are talented. There's so much you can become." His whole life, he had heard just the opposite. His mind had become conditioned to think, "You'll never get out of the projects. You'll never be successful. You'll always be broke, defeated, poor." But that day, a stronghold was broken in his thinking. He reconditioned his mind. Today, this young man, my friend, he owns his own business, very successful. Plus, he goes around to schools and he speaks to other students who are considered to be at risk. He tells them what the counselor told him: "You are not at risk, you are at possibility." Like with him, people around you may accept mediocrity. They may be fine with being average, having little goals, an okay job. That's fine for them, but don't let that spirit rub off on you. That is not who you are. You're the exception. You're a barrier breaker. You are not limited by your environment, by your education, by the obstacles in your path. God destined you to rise higher, to go to that next level. This is what happened to my father. He was raised in a poor home on a cotton farm during the Great Depression. At Christmas time, his family was the one that received the Christmas basket that went to the poorest family in the school. He could never drink a full glass of milk growing up. They couldn't afford it, only a fourth of a glass. Plus, they'd pour water in it to make it go further. But at 17, my father gave his life to Christ, the first one in his family. He told me, "Joel, I made a decision that day that my children would never be raised in the poverty and lack that I was raised in." He changed his mind. Everyone around him, and they were good people, but they were limited. Their mind had been conditioned to accept not having enough, struggle, lack. And the problem is, if you accept it, you won't do anything about it. It's easy to get comfortable in mediocrity and just adapt to the environment. But at 17, my dad felt something stirring on the inside. It was those seeds of greatness. And every circumstance said he was stuck. He'd have to stay on the farm and pick cotton the rest of his life. But instead of adapting to that environment, his attitude was, "This is where I am, but this is not my destiny. I am better than this. I refuse to live mediocre, wearing hand-me-downs, taking the Christmas basket. I know I have seeds of greatness. I have potential. I have creativity. The creator of the universe breathed life into me." My dad, as a teenager, he left the farm. He had to hitchhike, but he went out and started ministering in the jails, in the senior citizens' homes, everywhere he could find, making a difference with his life. He went on to break the curse of poverty and lack in our family. He was a barrier breaker. He knew he was made for more. And instead of just fitting in, being like everybody else, why don't you start seeing yourself as a barrier breaker, as the exception? You're supposed to stand out. You're supposed to rise above the norm. Maybe everyone in your family is depressed except you. You broke out. You're happy. You're full of joy. Everyone is addicted except you. You're free. You're clean. You're helping others. Everyone struggles. can't get ahead, can't make ends meet, except you. You're blessed. Good breaks are chasing you down. Opportunity is looking for you. Your gifts and talents are coming out in new ways. Why is that? You're the exception, not arrogant.